very good morning to you. Welcome to my thought for the day. We are in Luke chapter 20, and in Luke's account, as the crucifixion comes nearer, so the antagonism from the authorities increases, and there are lots of attempts to trip Jesus up and get him to say something that would make him guilty in the eyes of the governor, the Roman governor, who was placed in authority over the land. And there was a very fine line that had to be drawn by all Jews of the time, because if they openly rebelled against the governor, they would be executed. It was an occupied country. And so they tried to trip him up, and this is in verses 19 to 26. It says that after he told the parable, and we've looked at it, he was telling things, he was saying things which quite clearly said things were about to change. The son was going to be rejected, and verse 17 says, the very stone which the builders rejected has become the head of the corner. Something new was coming, and he who they were rejecting was going to be the keystone for that new movement. And they knew what he was saying, but they feared the people, because the people loved Jesus, or appeared to love Jesus. They were hanging on his every word, and they wanted to trip him up. So they watched him carefully, and they pretended to be sincere and listen. And then they asked him a very tricky question. Is it lawful for us to give tribute to Caesar or not? Now, this was a bit similar to the question that Jesus had asked them. Is John the Baptist, was his teaching from God or from man? Because the thing was, if they said from God, why didn't they respond to John? And if they said from men, all the people knew that John's message had come from God and that it was very special. And they avoided the question. Now, Jesus, this is a similar question. Is it right to give tribute to Caesar or not? Now, if Jesus said, yes, it's right to give tribute to Caesar, the people would be turned against him because they hated the Roman rule. But if he said it's not right to give tribute to Caesar, they could report him to the governor, and he would be guilty, having been heard by many people, of speaking against the Roman rule and inciting rebellion. So it was as tricky a question for Jesus. And it's interesting that Jesus doesn't avoid it. He has a wonderful way of dealing with it. He asks them to show him a coin. And the coin, of course, was a Roman coin. And the Roman coin had the image of Caesar on it. Just like our coins have the image of our queen on it. They had the image of Caesar. So, show me a coin, he said. Whose likeness and inscription is on it? And they said Caesar's. So Jesus said to them, well, give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. That's the coinage. It's his. And to God, the things that are God's. They were not able in the presence of the people to catch him by what he said, but marveling at his answer, they were silent. Jesus was very, very wise and very clever. Well, he would have been, wouldn't he? God incarnate. He may not have known everything, but he knew exactly how to answer that question. And that's an interesting thought for today, isn't it? There are things in this world that perhaps we don't think as Christians we should do or we need to do, that somehow we should be living above the ordinary everyday obligations of life. But that's not so. There are things that we have to do because we are human beings and because we live in this world. And we should pay our taxes, and we should honour our government as far as it's possible to honour our government. We shouldn't be rebellious. We shouldn't incite rebellion, but we should speak the truth about what's going on. And we should honour those to whom honour is owed simply by their situation in life. Excuse me. It's a very famous statement, isn't it? Render to Caesar that which is Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. It's only when those two things clash that we have to put the things of God first. My thought for the day: have a great day today. God bless you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.